Shabbat Shalom. I mean, I know we're listening on the live stream, but Shabbat Shalom. There, I saw there were a few of you out there. Picture this. Everybody is waiting in trepidation. They thought everything was going to be okay, but now desperation seems to have taken hold. It's originating in fear, a fear of the unknown. No one is really clear on what's going to happen next, and in their desperation, some people start saying and doing crazy things. And part of your mind, the rational part, knows that that's not rational, that's nuts, because it's okay, we're going to be okay. And part of your mind worries, what if it's not? What if something really, really bad is happening? I am talking, of course, about the Torah. There you go. In a rather prescient turn of events, this week Moses goes up to Mount Sinai to get those 10 commandments from God, and while he is up there just chilling with the Almighty, people are down below, the Israelite people, and they're waiting. And they wait a day, and they wait a few days, and then it's a week, and it's 3 weeks, and then it's 5 weeks, and they're still waiting. And I know you know this, but it bears repeating. Moses couldn't just shoot a quick text like, hey, sorry, talking to God's running late, we'll be there soon. The people are just waiting, and they have no idea what's going to happen. The Torah tells us that when the people saw that Moses was so long and coming down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and they said to him, make us a god, for that man Moses, lo yadanu mahayalo, we don't know what happened to him. We don't know what happened to him. We have a request, Aaron. Despite having literally just seen God's wonders and miracles, the 10 plagues raining down on the Egyptians, the splitting of the Red Sea that we walked through, freedom after hundreds of years of slavery, after all that God has wrought for us. We're not so sure if God's even real now. So why don't you just pop over there, Aaron, and make us a quick god out of gold? Maybe it looks like a cow. Huh? Now when us rabbis, when we give a sermon on the golden calf, it becomes a lesson in gratitude. You know, the problem with the Israelites is that after all the good stuff that God did for them, it wasn't enough. It was a, what have you done for us lately? But I think now that is a misread of the situation. Because they actually say what their motivation was, why they switched from being fervent monotheists, believers in the one God, to very quickly, very easily, well, why not a cow god made out of gold? It's a quick switch. They say it. They say what they're thinking. Lo yadanu mahaya, we don't know what's going on. They're scared. And why shouldn't they be scared? Their leader went to get a couple of stone tablets and was gone for 40 days. And they heard radio silence. So fear is a reasonable reaction. And out of that fear, most of them committed apostasy, which is a very fancy, old-timey word for chucking over all your religious beliefs. Might seem drastic, a little drastic. But it makes a sort of sense. They think, well, Moses is gone, so he's probably never coming back. And if he's never coming back, then God wasn't real in the first place. And if God isn't real, we need to make new gods. It's wrong, but it makes a sort of sense. And it only makes sense to us. Like, we know it's wrong, because we know where Moses is. Moses is on the top of the mountain, chilling with God. But they didn't know that. And so they demanded, wrongly, that Aaron make them new gods to worship out of a place of fear. A fear of the unknown. It's wrong, but I can see how they got there. It's kind of like, I don't know, buying 500 rolls of toilet paper in reaction to a contagious respiratory infection. It makes literally no sense, and there is no scientific or factual basis for doing that. It's wrong, but I can see how you got there. Jewish tradition teaches us that fear is not inherently a bad thing. Fear can motivate us to take appropriate precautions. Fear makes us be careful. You look both ways before you cross the street, right? You don't just step into traffic going, well, I lived a long life. Our tradition, our laws, are full of precautions. We are a people who believes that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We're going to have a whole chapter in a couple weeks, a whole chapter of the Torah dedicated to what you do if someone's sick, and how do you evaluate their symptoms, and how do you quarantine them if they are sick. And it's for their sake and the sake of others. Why? Because our tradition knows that it's not just your health you need to worry about. It's other people's health. It's kind of like saying you might be young and you might be healthy. But do you know people who are older? Do you know people who, I don't know, have chemo and no immune system to fight off disease? Do you know people who have problems breathing on a regular basis? We need to think about not just getting sick, but who we could get sick. And fear ensures that we think about the vulnerable amongst us, in addition to ourselves. Because as Jews, we know life is the most important thing. And the Torah teaches us that fear can be a motivator for bad decision making. Like, I don't know, bottled water when your water is perfectly safe to drink. Or 500 rolls of toilet paper. I do not get the toilet paper thing, guys. I don't, if you need 500 rolls of toilet paper in like a week or a month, you have other problems to worry about. And that's how you make a bathroom joke on the bima. Fear made the Israelites go from worshipers of God to worshipers of whatever they could get their hands on. Fear can make us change our fundamental beliefs. It can make us change who we are from good, reasonable people. Now, I am a big proponent in the belief that you cannot tell people what or how to feel. My husband likes to say that your heart feels and your brain thinks. It's just what it's made to do. The same way your lungs breathe, your brain thinks. So there's no point in making yourself feel a certain way or think about a certain thing. You can't make yourself feel bad for not being able to control your thoughts or control your feelings, because you feel what you feel. And you think about what you think about. And you can't control them. But you can control what you do. You can control what you do. If the Israelites had stopped in their frenzied panic and said, are we just wanting to build a golden calf because we're scared Moses isn't coming back and now we're all alone? If they had recognized that the motivation for their fear was the golden calf and that was the connection, maybe they wouldn't have done it. And I'm not saying it's any better to swing to the opposite pole. You know, we'd be in the same situation. If the Israelites had said, well, Moses abandoned us, let's just keep going as if nothing happened, and continued walking in the desert. Can you imagine? Moses, he's been on that mountain, getting those tablets, he's so proud. And he goes down the mountain and he sees nothing. Because everyone just kind of kept walking and pretending like nothing was happening. He'd still smash those tablets. Because that's not the right way to do it either. But maybe if the Israelites had said, hey, we are reasonably worried because Moses has been gone a very long time. And maybe some of us should ask Aaron what's going on, and maybe some of us should pray to God and ask God what's going on. Maybe we should send a search party into the desert. Maybe we should make sure the vulnerable among us are okay, because who's going to take care of them now that our leader's been gone for so long? That's the middle road. It's not burying your head in the sand, pretending that the problem isn't real if you just ignore it enough. And it's not letting fear dictate bad actions, wrong actions. In our own times of trouble, let us take the middle path, not being cavalier to the detriment of others and ourselves, frankly, and not being frenzied to the detriment of others and ourselves too. Let us take a deep breath, not on anyone, and look around and realize that, yes, It may be scary to see so many things changing so fast, but that means that people can band together for the good of everyone, and that is a miracle. That is a miracle when people can care for themselves and for others. So don't succumb to fear or frenzy or apathy. Things may be bad. They probably will be bad. Who knows how long Moses will be up on that mountain? But as long as we have each other, we won't wait alone. May we all be blessed with health, with light and love from God, from others, and from within ourselves. And let us all say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom.